Okay, hand controls. Really that should be hand and arms, as the hand on this rig setup does move the arm. It's set to IK. There are two systems you can animate with when animating arms and legs. There is IK or FK. IK is inverse kinematics, essentially means you control the arm from the end of the chain of joints. Forward kinematics means you control the arm from the beginning of the chain of joints. I have the rig set up here with IK screen right and FK screen left. By default this rig is set up to IK, which is my preferred method and it's the one I'm going to use, but I just wanted to quickly explain the difference between the two. Okay, so on the left is FK. I have set it up to be FK, and it means that we have to use just rotations, and we start at above at the shoulder, and you move this joint, and then you'd work your way down, you'd move the forearm joint and then down to the hand to position the rotation of your arm. For the IK solution, you grab the hand and you translate it and you move it in space where you want it to go. It means that you are just animating only one control for the most part, which is a benefit. There is a second control you have to use, which is a pole vector, which will dictate the angle of the arm. So essentially the elbow will point wherever you put this thing. The pros of using IK is that for me it feels a little bit more natural because I can grab the hand and put it where I want it to be. It has a much more natural feeling. It also means that if you want to do any kind of contact, say if this hand was resting on a table, you can put it on a table and you can move the body around it and the hand will stay locked to the table. With FK, the arm will move around while you do this, so you'll have to continually reposition the arm. A pro of forward kinematics is that you get your arcs for free essentially, as we're just using rotations. Everything you do with this is going to give you something of a circular motion. So if I just rotate this up, you see the hand follows an arc, whereas in IK, inverse kinematics, if I lift the hand up, I'm just going to get quite linear motion, and you will have to put more work in potentially and animate the arms frame by frame. In my experience, I'm going to animate frame by frame anyway. You want to sculpt every frame. This is animation. There isn't really any cheating. At least we don't have to draw every single frame these days. We compose this character. So ultimately, I will always use inverse kinematics for my arm setups. If you want to switch IK or FK controls on or off on the arm, you use this little blue control cube at the end of each arm and then go to IK, FK. 0 will mean it's set into IK. If I switch to 10, it means it is switched to FK, but I can't see the controls yet, so I have to switch off View IK controls and turn on View FK controls, and then I can use FK. If I still left the IK FK at 0, I'll find that those FK controls don't work because the arm is now set to IK, but I've got the FK controls showing. So if I want to switch the left arm, the screen right arm, back to IK, I click the blue cube, I turn IK FK to 0, I turn off View FK controls and turn on View IK controls, and we're good to go. Okay, so now I've decided on the inverse kinematic setup. Let's set up those arms. So if we click on this little NURBS curve, which is at the knuckles, there's a whole bunch of attributes here. Now these have attributes so that we can bend fingers essentially and use these combination of attributes to pose the character. We're not going to do it like that. I find it a bit complicated. Let's stick to the more simple approach, which is to turn on these finger control visibilities. So if I hit 1 in here, in all of these guys, everything that says viz, ring control visibility, pinky visibility. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be all of our digits. And if we look at the hand itself, we'll see we've got these nice controls, FK controls, for the fingers. So we have controls that start at the base of the hand, so we can control our fingers right from the top of the wrist, all the way down to knuckles, middle joint, and then the last joint of your finger. So 3 for fingers, 2 for your thumb, and then the ones at the beginning. So that's the first thing we're going to do. The second thing is this pole vector currently is set in world space. So if I move the hand, it remains locked, and if I move the body, it also remains locked. It can be useful for that to follow along with the hand, especially whilst we're in blocking, so that we don't have to keep going back and grabbing our pole vector, which maybe because we've moved our character forward in space, suddenly this is very far away and we're going to have to go and grab that. So let's switch that over as well. On this blue control, there is a pole world local attribute. If we switch that to 1, we should find that it follows along with our hand. So like I say, that can be useful. Just a little time saver, so it keeps that control close to our hand. The second thing we want to do is click on this hand control, and then let's turn the stretch off, so we'll switch that to 0. And it'll just mean that we're not animating a stretchy Stretch Armstrong character. Okay, so I think that is it for setting up the hands and arms. That of course is just for his left arm. I will leave you to do the same process for his right arm.